So did you get yourself a new Harley-Davidson Boom Audio 20S EVO Bluetooth headset? Want to pair it, configure it with your Harley-Davidson Boombox infotainment system? You've come to the right place. Let's get started right now. This video in 4K. Welcome back, Bikeaholics. Ryan Urlacher here, lawabidingbiker.com. Thank you for checking back in. Want to save money, wrench on your own motorcycle, be entertained, and be part of the world's #1 biker community? Every time that subscribe button and bell icon are hit, another biker joins the revolution. A couple quick things that you need to know before we get started. First, in order to get full boombox wireless integration with a Harley stamped 20S EVO headset, you have to have a WHIM installed. That's a wireless headset interface module. It's made by Harley-Davidson. We have a free video on how to install that, link in the description. And the reason you have to have the WHIM is because the boombox is not capable of directly communicating wirelessly with a headset. Yep, that's right. Now you get to pay the Harley tax because the boombox was screwed up in the first place and wouldn't pair directly. Now you got to buy a WHIM. And further, to get this full functionality, you get to pay double Harley tax because you have to buy a Harley-Davidson stamped. Sena makes it. It's a 20S headset, but it has to have the Harley stamp. A regular 20S will pair, but you'll get mono sound, and it sucks. The only way to get Bluetooth connectivity wirelessly, full boombox integration with stereo sound, is to pay the tax and get the 20S stamped Harley. So you may ask, why did we pay the Harley tax? Well, we went and got this system for you guys. You had asked about it. We wanted to test it for you guys, review it, and show you how to utilize it. A question we get a lot is, yes, the WHIM will pair with other Bluetooth headsets, but again, you absolutely will not get stereo sound. The only way to do that is if you get the Harley stamped Sena 20S EVO. And understand that if you get another brand or non-Harley stamped headset to pair, you're not gonna have full configuration settings. And so yes, with the WHIM and the Sena Harley stamped headset, you will get full boombox integration wirelessly. That means that voice commands into the boombox, turn-by-turn directions, music, whatever's going from your phone into the boombox will now come out of your boombox and into your Sena headset. It is 100% integration. The other thing to note is that you can get two of these. So two Harley stamped Sena 20S's. One WHIM is all you need to install on your Harley, and you'll have full boombox integration, including the internal intercom system, CB, and all those types of things. Another question we get asked often is, once this is integrated with the boombox and the WHIM, can you still use the 20S as you can a normal 20S? That means you can pair with other riders going down the road. Yes, you can. With this, you can pair up to 8 other riders. So you asked me what I think about this whole system with the WHIM. I think it works well. However, it's an expensive proposition to have to pay Harley-Davidson to fix a problem that they created in the first place. I still think there's better options and less expensive options for riders out there, such as the Sena FreeWire. I will leave a link in the description below. Further thoughts on the WHIM versus a FreeWire. And before you try to pair and configure this with your boombox, make sure this software is up to date, your WHIM, and your boombox. So with that said, let's go ahead and pair this and configure it with the boombox infotainment system. All right, so here we are out at the motorcycle with the boombox, and of course my Sena 20S EVO headset software is up to date, along with the WHIM software, along with the boombox software. Everything's up to date. I'm gonna go ahead and power my 20S on by pressing the phone button and the jog dial button at the same time for about a second, and I heard the hello prompt, so that's powered on now. Okay, first things first, very critical, or you're gonna have problems with sound. If you ever can't hear anything, there's a couple reasons. Make sure that your phone volume is all the way up, because your phone's connected to your boombox, it's synced with the boombox, and your music and audio and phone calls are gonna be going from your phone into the boombox. And if that volume's down, it's gonna cause problems. Number two, make sure that your 20S volume is turned all the way up. And you can do that by rotating the jog dial clockwise, and you'll hear an audible tone inside your helmet when you get all the way up. That can also cause a problem. If this is down, you won't be able to hear your music even though you're turning the boombox up. So this needs to be all the way up. Okay, after you install your WHIM and have your Harley boombox flashed at a dealership, you're gonna have a new menu item. I'm gonna use my toggles for this video so that my fingers aren't in the way on the touch screen, and I'm gonna go to Setup and push in on my right toggle. All right. You're gonna have a new menu item now, and you wanna go over and scroll all the way down until you find wireless headset. That's what we're looking for right there. Push in, we wanna pair the rider headset. So at this time, you always wanna pair your rider headset first, and then if you have an additional passenger headset, you can pair that, okay? and you want to make sure both these are enabled if you're going to pair two. All right, so I'm going to pair rider headset, and what I do right now is I take my Sena 20S, and this is your phone button right here on the back. I'm going to push in and hold this phone button right here on the back for 5 seconds until it starts alternately flashing blue and red on the LED. So there you can see we're in pairing mode, the 20S. Now I'm going to go ahead and push in and pair rider headset, and there you go. You see it actually picked it up right now, the 20S, and that's my newest software version. I'm going to push in, select it, and pairing is in process, and there we go. You can see now it is recognized and the status is connected, and it tells you now, you can see down here at the bottom the battery is 100%, so that's great. It reads your battery, and then we can go ahead and in a moment we're going to configure it. And you would just go back out to the up side there, and you would pair your passenger headset if you had a passenger one in the same manner. Okay, now that you've got your headset paired, we need to do a couple things in the boombox if you don't normally run a headset. We're going to go into our main menu and we're going to go to Setup, and then we're looking for speaker headset. You need to make sure that you've switched the orange highlighted ones right now you can see are on our speaker. That's for my external speakers and my fairing. I need to switch my music and media, my communications, and my prompts all to the headset so that my headset will work. Otherwise, you're not going to hear anything. You'll hear it out of your speakers. The other setting we need to make sure is set is just go to your main menu and go to COM. And if you're going to run two headsets and you're actually going to operate the intercom on your Harley-Davidson through the boombox, you need to make sure and go into Intercom, and then make sure you can see right up here in the top I can turn it off or I can turn it on. You'll definitely want to turn that on. And then here's your Vox. That you're going to have to play with. You can turn up how sensitive the Vox is, voice activation, Vox when you're talking into your passenger. It's kind of touchy, and it's really something that you're just going to have to play with. So it's not sensitive. Basically, if it's not sensitive at all, it'll be hard to wake it up. And if it's too sensitive, then little things may make it go off. So just like I say, just play with that. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to tell you from my testing what I like and what I found are the best settings. Of course, you can change that for your personal preferences. So we already did speaker headset. We're going to go down to volume setup and push in on the right toggle. We don't need speaker volume because that's my fairing speakers. We need rider headset volume. And whatever we do here, we can go and independently do passenger headset volume. Just remember that you have two options. So we're going to do rider. We're going to go into that. Now, I want you to look at this. Here's what I have learned. I'll make this easy for you. You see this top box? It's not checked. I can check it or uncheck it. I leave it unchecked. The reason is tuner media. Basically, I can turn of course, my phone volume's all the way up. My headset volume's all the way up. Basically, I can control my volume on my left toggle, and the louder I turn it when I'm playing music off my phone or the tuner, the louder the headset goes, all the way till distortion. Okay, so it basically gives me full control, a full range of volume. So what this does, if I check the volume controls wireless headset, basically in this menu, wherever I set this up, so let's say I find that distortion is right there. And you can see, so if I find and I'm listening, okay, if I go any higher than that, it distorts. Now that I have this box checked up here, when on the fly, when I'm going down the road, I can turn my volume all the way up, and it's not going to allow me to go past where I have it set. So it's not going to go into the distortion range and things like that. I hope that you understand that. That's what I've learned, because it doesn't say anything about it in the instructions. So I choose to go without it because I just want my full range of volume, and I'll turn it down if it starts distorting a little bit because different songs are different, of course. So, and then your prompt volume, of course, that would be your GPS turn by turn and all that. Set that level where you want it. All right, so while we're still in the rider headset volume, I want to show you, some guys miss this. There's more options for your rider headset volume. You can go up and you see that little more in the right-hand corner. We can go ahead and hit that. That gives us more options for phone volume. Basically, that would mean, and there's a glitch in the boombox right now, as there always is. I can't use my toggles, so I'll use my fingers, but I can turn my phone. That's how loud the phone call would be coming in my headset. Same with intercom. Of course, CB is integrated with your 20S, so you can adjust your CB volumes. Don't forget on all this, you can adjust these on the fly too. So this is just a basic setting, but as you were in a phone call or as you were in an intercom conversation or CB, you could certainly turn your volumes up and down on the fly on your left toggle while you're utilizing each of those functions. But this is the main menu for them. And then if we go back up, it takes us back to the top of the menu. Okay, now we've got volume setup. We're going to go to audio setup and push in. You can choose, of course, your bass and treble where you want it, the way you want your music to sound. This is what I found is the best for me. With bass, you really can't go any higher than that. Of course, you're not going to get a lot of bass out of a motorcycle headset. They just don't have the capacity to have large enough speakers. The music's more flatter, but I turned the treble up a couple, the bass up. These I feel work the best. Don't worry about speed volume. That's actually for your speakers on your fairing. There's another speed volume setting for the headset when we get into configuring it. All right, I backed out to my main menu. We've done the speaker, headset, volume setup, and audio setup. I'm going to scroll down. We're actually going to go into, oops, I passed it there. We're going to go into our wireless headset menu, and we're going to actually configure this. Now, remember, you can do the rider and passer individually, but I'm going to manage the rider headset, and we're actually going to go into the 20S. You can see if you hit that forget button, that will unpair it. If you ever need to unpair it, just do that. We're actually going to go into configuration, and again, it shows your software version. Make sure you're always up to date and status connected. I'm going to go ahead and go into the configuration menu. The first thing we're going to talk about is smart volume control. Smart volume control automatically changes the level of the speaker volume based on the level of environmental noise. When it is disabled, volume is controlled manually. You can enable it, of course, in here, low, medium, or high. And basically what that means is as it picks up more noise as you're going faster, of course, it gets just a little bit louder for you. A lot of cars do it, and of course, the boombox itself does that. So set it where you like it. I've found that, the higher it is, the higher it's going to go. It's going to pick up noise quicker. The volume's going to pump up higher, and medium all the way down to low. I choose medium. Next, we're going to talk about side tone. Push that in. You can see I have mine disabled. I like it that way. Basically, side tone is the sound of your own voice as picked up by your headset's microphone and reproduced into your own ears by your own headset speakers. It basically helps you to naturally speak at a correct level to varying helmet noise conditions. Basically, you'll hear yourself back inside your helmet so that you maybe can hear how the person on the other end of the line on your phone or your intercom can hear. It's kind of distracting to me, so I leave it disabled. So a lot of your settings in here, guys, understand it really isn't going to affect your boombox so much. The boombox is controlling the 20S. A lot of these, aside from side tone, of course, that will directly affect hearing your voice back in your speakers, but a lot of these settings are within the 20S only internally, because obviously you can connect to other riders directly, a group and things like that. So that's where smart volume would come into play. The wind on your speakers and how loud voices are coming through. Of course, your boombox is going to actually control the volume. Side tones, of course, we talked about that. That's important. But voice prompts is really within your headset. So it's basically, do you want the voice prompts in the 20S? The 20S does a lot of things internally, like you can give it commands to, connect to a group, and you can hear battery levels. She can tell you, that your battery level and things like that. That's all that is. So it's really up to you whether you enable or disable that. I leave it enabled. All right, we're going to scroll down a little bit, and we'll go over here to advanced noise control. Basically, advanced noise control, when it's enabled, the background noise is reduced during an intercom conversation. When it is disabled, the background noise is mixed with your voice during intercom. So you get to choose. That's pretty self-explanatory. I leave it enabled. Okay, next, again, internally within the Sena 20S, to give voice commands, you have to, basically, you can take your 20S and you can just take and tap it twice like that. That'll wake it up, and you'll hear in your headset, you'll actually hear, what can I do for you, basically. That wakes it up. And so that's what you're doing by motion sensitivity. How hard do you want to have to tap the thing twice to get it to wake up? And again, I do want to specify that that would be voice commands internally within the headset, like connect to a group, or battery levels and statuses and things like that. To actually get a voice command going into your boom box, on your left toggle, you got to hit the voice command activation button so that you can get the boom box to wake up for voice commands. And so I'm going to go ahead and push that on the left toggle. And there you go. You can see that it brought up the boombox voice commands, which are very specific, you know, skip song, all that kind of stuff. So that's how you would actually give voice commands to the boombox. All right, moving on down, we're going to hit HD Intercom. All right, and I enable it, and here's why. HD Intercom enhances the two-way intercom audio from normal quality to high definition quality. High definition intercom will be temporarily disabled when you enter into a multi-way intercom. If this feature is disabled, the two-way intercom audio will change to normal quality. So I like to keep that enabled. Okay, and moving down to audio multitasking. I actually have this disabled, but here's the deal. Audio multitasking allows you to have an intercom conversation while simultaneously listening to music, FM radio, or GPS instructions. The overlaid audio is played in the background with reduced volume whenever there is an intercom conversation and will return to normal volume once the conversation is finished. If this feature is disabled, any incoming or outgoing intercom will interrupt your audio channel. So basically, if you're on your intercom, it'll lower that music and play it in the background. You know, I have it disabled because if I'm on the intercom, I kind of just want to talk. I don't want any music in the background, but that's personal preference. Now you can see the next selection is grayed out. INT, audio sensitivity. It's been grayed out for a long time, so they don't want you to have access to it. But I want to tell you what it is basically in case it ever does come back in a software update. INT audio sensitivity changes the sensitivity level at which the headset detects you are speaking and turns on side tones. Basically, that's side tones is where you can hear your own voice in your speakers. Level 1 is the lowest sensitivity, and you'll have to speak very loud. Level 10 is the most sensitive and will trigger with very little sound. Pending on writing conditions, this may need to be adjusted due to ambient noise. So the factory setting, they set it at 6. So that's probably where they have it set it, and maybe they were having problems, I don't know, but at the time of this video, it is not an option we can change. So moving on to Nav App Support. When audio multitasking is enabled, your smartphone's GPS application reduces in volume whenever there is an ongoing intercom conversation. To listen to your smartphone GPS navigation clearly without this volume reduction, enable Navigation App Support. All right, and I actually leave this disabled. All right, moving down to 8-way intercom. Disabling the 8-way intercom optimizes the intercom performance for a small group of up to 4 participants. Enabling the 8-way intercom optimizes the intercom performance for a larger group of up to 8 participants. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, moving down to FM station guide. Now, understand this is internal within the headset because the headset itself can directly connect to FM stations if you want. I don't know why you would do that if you're using it with a boombox, but I do want to tell you about it. So again, this would be internally in the headset. Basically, when FM station guide is enabled, FM station frequencies are given by voice prompts as you select the preset stations. When FM station guide is disabled, the voice prompts on FM station frequencies will not be given as you select preset stations. So within the headset, if you were running it only without the boombox, and you were flipping through stations, it would tell you what frequency you're on. I don't really do that. It's connected to my boombox, and so I just leave that disabled. And that would be our last configuration menu item, and we can go ahead and back out of that. And now our Boom Audio 20S is all configured to work with the boombox how I like it. So now that you have your 20S all connected, of course, with the WHIM, you have wireless connectivity. And everything that goes into your boombox comes wirelessly to that headset. So your phone should be perched up in a biker gripper, of course, the #1 cell phone motorcycle mount on the market, guys, right in our store. Rave reviews, you'll love the thing. But have your phone perched up there. You've already paired it with your boombox, so whatever music is playing on your phone into your boombox, of course, you're going to hear that music out into your headset, and also phone calls. And don't forget, you can adjust the volume levels. You can skip songs on your toggles. And you can hit your voice activation, menu on right there on your left handlebar and give voice commands and all that kind of stuff. You can hear all your GPS. So everything is completely integrated once you get it set up and configured. Okay, one thing I want to mention, if you have any problems with the boombox or the headset, not working or getting hung up, #1, I would go into your boombox settings and I would unpair that and start over. The other thing I would do is a factory reset. So to restore and factory reset the 20S, This is one way you can try factory default settings. Press and hold the phone button, which is on the back there, for 12 seconds until the LED shows solid red and you hear a double beep. So you will hear a voice prompt saying factory reset. Within 5 seconds, press the jog dial right here. Press in on that jog dial to confirm the reset. The headset will be restored to factory settings and switched off automatically. You'll hear a voice prompt saying headset reset, goodbye. So there you go. That's how you get it back to factory reset. Now, when we talk about fault reset, you could also try this, and I would actually try a fault reset first, because that way you won't lose all your settings that you just went through and set up. But I would try a fault reset, and on the very back of this thing is right over here is a little pinhole. And so when it's not working properly or it's in a fault status for any reason, you can reset it by pushing the pinhole reset button on the back of the headset main unit. Insert basically a paper clip into that little tiny hole and press the reset button for a second with light pressure. The boom audio headset will be switched off and you will have to turn the system back on and try again. However, that will not restore the headset to factory settings. So that's what I would try first, is just doing that fault reset, and if that didn't work, I would do the full restore to factory settings and just start everything over. Just a little tip. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out our #1 best-selling boombox tutorial video series. Everything you need to know about the boombox, all your questions answered, link in the description below.